right, CGS day number 2 with Drew Mahoney from Bentley. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, you?
Doing great, man. I appreciate you being here. And I guess first and foremost, welcome to CGS. What have your thoughts been on the event so far?
I mean, it's been great. A lot of exposure so far. A lot of good competition. There's a ton of scouts here. I think like 31 teams.
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's everything I could ask for so far.
Now, of course, this is only my second year. We did a media day yesterday for the first time, but I remember thinking last year I thought it was a big deal, and then the amount of growth from last year to this year has really blown my mind. I'm like, this is their 6th year. I mean, what was year 1 and 2 like? But I mean, you know, obviously a lot of you guys have probably done your research. Like when you got the invite, when you heard about it, what was your first step to seeing if you wanted to do this?
Really just like looking it up a little bit more. I know it's a smaller game. You hear of like the NFLPA, those bigger games, but I mean this opportunity is just as good, just as much exposure, things like that. So just a blessing to be here.
Was there anything particular that sold you on this event? Like, it's the first of the year, you know? I mean, you could have been at home and sleeping in.
Really just the number of scouts here. I mean, that's all you need. Any look. I mean, I'm coming from a Division II school, so anything I can get, anything helps.
What position are you?
Slot receiver.
Slot receiver.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like the NFL kind of goes in phases where, you know, 1 year it's all running backs. You know, you had a big year there probably about 10 years ago, and then for a while it was all the running backs. You know, you had like Sean Alexander, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Then you had the wide receivers again. You had Calvin Johnson, who was a big name. Randy Moss was still around. Mm-hmm. And then tight ends have kind of been more recently. But slot receiver, like if you find the right one, a good fit, change your whole game. I mean, Julian Edelman with the Patriots. Like, what's your feelings on your position and like the impact it has on the game?
I mean, I think the slot receiver position is kind of a newer position in the game. I mean, you really don't see many on like a lot of teams, but it's kind of growing. And I think like the guys like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman are kind of making it, respectable in the league. So hopefully, I can follow their shoes.
So as far as the off the field stuff, you guys have had some seminars, and there's a lot of information to take in. Like, were you surprised at how much knowledge got dropped on you day one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there's so much like financial, like the financial side of the business is not like what many people see. I mean, people usually just see a bunch of athletes running around on the field, but there's a lot behind the scenes going on. Like just as a player, you need like financial advisors, like marketing team, like your own agent. There's just a lot going on behind the scenes that probably like the normal fan doesn't realize what's happening.
Yeah, I remember last year I sat in on Rod Newhouse's seminar talking about how far your money goes in different markets, and I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like if you go to the draft, you get drafted. There could be a huge financial difference between going to a place like Green Bay as opposed to a place like Miami.
Yeah, no, totally. It really just depends on like even like the taxes in like the city and things like that. Pretty much like if you go to a team in California, you're gonna, as an undrafted free agent, you're gonna struggle a little bit financially, just because of the amount of the amount the state takes from your paycheck and things like that. So, but now if you're like in the middle of the country, I mean, a lot of your paycheck is going in your pocket. So
yeah. Richard Sherman has kind of been one of the, soapbox guys for doing it yourself, like, or at least educating yourself on the way the game is. But of course, agents want to get paid. They want to make sure that you guys get paid and that you guys are getting taken care of with your contract. Do you have an agent? Like, what's that aspect of the game?
Yeah, so I have an agent, and I think most people do need an agent because it's hard to rep yourself. I mean, Richard Sherman, I think, is a rare case where, I mean, he's a Pro Bowler. Like, he has the numbers and he has those things. But as like a player just coming into like this year, 2020, I think you're going to need a guy to rep you. Even if you're like a top talent, first round pick, you're going to need that guy to negotiate deals and things like that. So I think it's necessary. But again, Richard Sherman seems to be doing fine. on his own. So
yeah, it's like my mom told me growing up. She's like, if you really want to do yourself a favor in life and save yourself some money, learn a trade. Like a car mechanic. Your car needs work. You don't have to take it somewhere. You can just do it yourself. Which I agree. I think that's a great mode of thinking. If you can develop a trade skill like that. But at the same time, I didn't want to be a mechanic. So, if something goes wrong with my car, I'm going to take it to the guy that knows what he's doing. Right? Same mentality with an agent. So if Richard Sherman wants to educate himself and know how to do what an agent can do and save himself some money, more power to him. But for you guys, what's football like in your family? Are you the first? Are you the third?
Yeah, no, I'm really the first in my family to play football. Not from really a football family, but, I love the game. But I would have no idea where to even start. If
nobody passed anything down to you?
No, nothing.
Like, wow.
Not like Rob Newhouse. He kind of had it.
It ran in his family,
Yeah.
So that's crazy. You guys, cases like yours, I think, are especially fascinating because a lot of times football is like a family thing. My brother did it, my uncle did it, my dad, he coached or whatever, and so they can pass along knowledge to you. But you going into this kind of as the first, a trailblazer for your family. Like, what are conversations like around the house? Being the first football player.
Like everyone's a fan of football, just like. You always get the people that think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. I come from a bigger family, so you hear a lot of like people talking like, oh, they should have done this and this and this, but you really don't know until you're in the locker room or until you're putting it on the pads, or if you're the coach. But it's definitely a different view, I guess, being the only one.
Whether it's on the field or in the one-on-one interviews, what's one thing you'd like a scout to take away from their experience with you?
I guess my competitive edge. I'm a very competitive person, competitive player, and I love to win. I love to compete, and that's what I'm going to do for any team that gets me.
Seem like a soft-spoken guy. Probably a lot of intensity out on the field, though. Like when those cleats hit turf, the switch goes off, and you're ready to go.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, not big into all the talk, but like when you get on the field, switch.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, he is Drew Mahoney, and he is a slot receiver from Bentley. I wish you the best of luck, man. Pleasure.
Thank you. Yep.